If you're sailing on a Royal Caribbean cruise from practically anywhere on the East Coast, it's almost assured that you're going to make a stop at Perfect Day at CocoCay, the cruise line's private island. Now, I have visited this island countless times, including well before it was completely transformed into what we all know today. So, what do I think people will wish that they knew before they visited? I'll tell you right now. First up is that if you were visiting for the first time, you're going to want to know a general layout of CocoCay. The place, frankly, it's big with several different areas. There are maps around the island and you can also find them online. I'd highly suggest just checking one of these out to get some idea of where things sit. I like to think of it as three different areas, although Royal Caribbean might disagree. The first section is Chill Island and Oasis Lagoon, which is the huge swimming pool. These spots, they go from the center of the island to the left as you look from the ship. It's where the vast majority of free things to do around CocoCay are located. Second is the Thrill Waterpark, which is by far the most attention-catching spot with a huge tower with water slides spiraling all around it. The water park, it does cost extra, and more on that in a moment, but it is one of the more popular areas. Third is on the backside of the island. Here is where the Coco Beach Club, a fee-based area, and the free South Beach sit. There's a tram that runs around CocoCay, taking you from spot to spot, but it is still a good idea to have that mental map when you're exploring on your own. Make no mistake, Royal Caribbean transformed CocoCay to make money, and there are plenty of opportunities to spend a lot. But one thing I'm glad I know after visiting is that there is a nice balance between free and paid. Frankly, if you want to visit and not spend a dime, you can still have a full day. Specifically, most food is free. The beach loungers are free, as are the beach games. The pool is free, and so is the kids' splash pad and the pirate ship on the island for the kids. Now, anything more active, like the water park or special places like cabanas or the beach club, those definitely cost extra. But it is nice to know that if you don't want to spend more, you absolutely can still have a lot of fun. One thing I think anyone is going to want to realize is that Royal Caribbean is very proud of the water park, and that shows in the pricing. The cruise line, they use something called dynamic pricing, so there isn't a set price for admission. Instead, it depends on your specific visit, and the prices, frankly, they can be eye-watering. I've personally seen prices as high as $161 on cruises, and one cruise I have scheduled shows a price of nearly $100 for admission. But I've heard from readers over on Cruzely.com that report prices even higher, above $200 per person. Now, I don't know for sure, but I expect that these prices are so high to help limit the crowd somewhat and reduce lines. After all, if you were to go to a water park in Orlando, you'd pay around $50 to $80 per person for an experience that's much bigger than Thrill Water Park. One big value on CocoCay that anyone is going to want to know before they visit is that your onboard drink package and the Wi-Fi package will work on the island. Normally, these things only work on the ship, so when you're in a port all day, you pay for the drink package, but you don't get to use it. Same thing with the Wi-Fi. That is not the case on CocoCay. Instead, you get to squeeze an extra day out of these services just as if you were on the ship. Now, it took me several times visiting CocoCay before I realized what I think is the best way to enjoy the island. When you port, you'll spend a full day docked, usually from around 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. By far, the busiest hours are between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So come around 2 o'clock, you'll notice things die down considerably. Yet it's still a long time until the ship leaves. That's why I like to break down my time there into 2 days. First, I like to go out on day 1 and enjoy the morning before things get too crowded. There's plenty of room around, it's not too hot out, and you can figure out what you like around CocoCay. Then after eating lunch, I head back to the ship. There, I just spend a couple of hours in the cabin, take a siesta, and avoid the middle of the day when things are the busiest and the hottest. Then around 2 p.m., I'll head back for my second day. By this time, there is still plenty of sun and people, but the crowds are starting to thin out a little bit. Plus, I get a second win instead of being toast from sitting in the sun all day. CocoCay is a hit among passengers and Royal Caribbean. These days, more than half the cruise line sailings visit the island. Royal Caribbean said that they average about 11,000 people a day, and they plan to add more capacity with a new section opening soon. That means there are usually 2 large ships visiting on any given day. The good thing is that there's plenty of space around the island, so no, you aren't going to be standing shoulder to shoulder on the beach. But you can definitely still feel the crowds, and some spots will be packed. Specifically, the bar area in the Oasis Lagoon pool, it can get very crowded. Consider yourself lucky if you visit on a day with just 1 ship in port. Another thing I wish I knew before I visited in the winter is that the Oasis Lagoon, the huge freshwater pool on CocoCay, it is not heated. It never gets too cold in the Bahamas, but as someone who grew up in the South, I am not equipped to handle cold water. A February trip that I took to the island ended up with me spending more time in the ocean, as it was actually warmer to me than swimming in the pool. If you're excited about hitting the beach, you are not alone. It is a huge draw. They are white sand beaches with calm blue water. What is not to like? But 2 things I wish I knew before I ever visited are a couple of beach tips. 1, if you want the best beach, then I'd recommend South Beach. It's on the far side of the island, so the crowds are a bit smaller because it takes some walking to get there. But it also has all the features that you want. Lots of room, a bar close by, restrooms, a restaurant, and lots of beach games. Other beaches have those as well, but this one's all self-contained. When I noticed that the ship's entertainment crew members seemed to congregate here when relaxing, that was all that needed to be said. Second, if you want the calmest beach, then check out Harbor Beach. It's smack in the middle of CocoCay. Because the water is from an inlet instead of the open ocean, it's always completely calm no matter how much wind there is. As well, I get the impression that most people want to sit on the beaches on the outside of the island, so it seems like the number of people here is just a fraction of what is found elsewhere. Now, are you the sort of person that wants to party? Or maybe you're the sort of person that wants to avoid that scene altogether. Either way, one thing you'll wish you knew are the party spots on CocoCay. To be sure, it's not exactly Bourbon Street, but 2 spots in particular seem to get a bit more festive. First, the Oasis Lagoon pool has a swim-up bar that's very popular and will by far be the most crowded spot in the entire pool. It's also likely the warmest part of the pool, if you know what I mean. Second, one lesser known spot is a floating bar located off the shore in South Beach. It's essentially a floating island with booze. Literally, the bartender has to kayak in the shore to go get more ice. I found it can get pretty busy and loud. If you want that, then it is your spot. If not, then you'll know to avoid it. I'll be honest, this isn't something I wish I knew, simply because I don't plan on spending the money for a cabana on CocoCay, which start at around $1,000 a day. Sorry, it's just too rich for my blood. However, if you are in the market, then you will want to know that these cabanas can come with some perks that you may not realize, and they can make it a better deal. For example, when you opt for the $1,000 a day cabana at the Waterpark, you get the space, but it also comes with 6 entrances to the water park. Considering that admission could be $100 or more a day, that means you're paying just a fraction for the actual cabana. Same thing with the cabanas at the Coco Beach Club. These are pricier, but they also include the expensive admission to the club for up to 8 people. Now, if you're wondering about food, well, you have several options that you may not realize. First, the vast majority of food is free. During the day, there is a buffet served with things like burgers, dogs, and the like. There are also smaller spots called snack shacks that serve chicken sandwiches, fries, funnel cakes, and more. All of this is free. What I have learned is that these snack shacks, which are essentially like little fast food spots, they serve up stuff to me that it seems better than the larger buffet and without the hassle of dealing with the bigger crowds. If you want higher end dining, then you have a couple of options. First, you can always head back to the ship. It's not a far walk, and restaurants on board are still operating even though you are in port. Second, the highest end dining is in the Cocoa Beach Club. Now, there's an admission fee to this private area that's around $150 per person. But one thing included is lunch, which can be steak, lobster, and more. You know, for those times when a burger just doesn't cut it. Thank you for watching. Before you go, if you have any questions about visiting CocoCay, please put them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them for you, or maybe other people can answer them. And of course, liking and subscribing is always nice. Plus, be sure to check out the description where I've put links to even more to know about visiting CocoCay. Until next time, happy sailing.